Yeah. Sean, what's up?
Stigmatism, man, what's up? Do anything.
Okay. What is it, man?
Stigmatism in my soul.
Okay. Yo, what's up, man? What's going on, man?
What's the deal, boss? What's going on? What's the haps?
Hey, y'all. Listen, man, I keep telling y'all, I got the dopest channel on YouTube.
Alright.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
And, you know, I keep showing and proving, man. This is our second interview with the world-renowned, right? In 714 years from now, when they talking about hip-hop starting in New York City, this man's name is gonna have to be mentioned. We back here, part 2, Kool DJ and Red Alert. Yo, Red, what's up, man?
Man, we had to come right back here to Bryant Park in the heart of Manhattan, you know what I'm saying? 40 doo-wop. You know, right over on the side is the New York Library. Got the great lawn out here.
42nd Street, 6th Ave, Old Avenue of Americas.
Man,
Pigeons out here, everything, man.
I remember in my time when I was in high school, man, after school, I used to be a messenger down here.
You was a messenger, Red?
Yes, I was.
On a messenger bike?
Not on the bike, on foot.
Okay.
But you know, that's when, you know, the minimum wage was way low.
Yeah.
But you know I was earning mine.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Good days out here.
Hey, Red, man, I brought you back, man. We're gonna talk about the DJing on this one, man.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it there.
All right.
Now, you a world famous DJ, man.
Respect.
You done broke a whole lot of artists, man.
Respect.
Red, I mean, you're responsible for this. Not you solely, but you played a major part in this hip hop thing the way it is today, man.
My job is to introduce and entertain. That's the way I look at it, man, because, you know, people want to hear something they're already familiar with, but if there's something that I believe in and I can introduce it and learn how for you to get involved with it, why not take the choice and go forth? That's the way I believe in it.
Yo, Red, when you started DJing, man? First of all, when did you decide, like, yo, I want to DJ, I want to be a DJ?
Well, back in 1976, while in high school, you know, I used to be with my friends.
High school where, Red?
I'm at the D. Clinton High School, up in the BX.
Bronx represent.
All right. So during the time, I used to be with my friend Derek Chink and a couple other guys, and we used to sneak downtown. And matter of fact, as we were on 42nd Street over that way, towards the east side, right off of Park Avenue across the street from Grand Central Station.
Right.
Used to be a restaurant that they used to use as a club when it came to after work Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, called Nell Gwynn's. I used to sneak down there. I was underage, but I was wearing my brother's clothes.
Check them out, y'all.
I used to wear my older brother's clothes, try to make myself look presentable, and come in there and check out some of the DJs. So when I was checking that out, I was like, wow, I was amazed, you know? And even before then, while I was in D. Clinton High School, a little further down, a couple of train stops away, they got a college called Bronx Community College. So we used to sneak off from the high school and go to the college and go to the lunchroom area. And when it came to the lunchroom area, I saw this guy. He had a layout. The first time I ever seen that, turntables, mixer, and a whole bunch of records and crates. And he played music, and I was amazed about it. I'm like, yo, what is this? So from there, lead on to sneaking downtown to these clubs, I caught the bug. Later on, after catching the bug down here, going to Nell Gwynn's, and then there's other clubs like the Diplomat, Superstar Cafeteria. I couldn't get in Leviticus, you know, I couldn't get in there, but there are a couple of little spots down here. But on a Saturday, I started learning about HERC. So here it is.
Check them out, y'all.
So here it is. I'm going down to these discos on a Thursday, Friday, but on a Saturday, I was going to HERC up in the BX. So that was, I caught the bug at that time. That what gave me interest. And when I started looking upon some of the songs that they was playing, the albums and everything, I said, I got that, because my older brother used to collect a lot of records. I come home, I see all the records, I take time to listen to them, I'm familiar with them. I say, yeah, okay, all right. Same time I was in high school, I took up music class. I think this was a big help for me because when I took up music class, I learned how to read music. So as I learned to read music, you learn how to go bars, you know, notes, segue, a little bit of everything. So you learn that when you start playing music, you learn how to accommodate from one song to another. So I think that helped me right along the way. Nobody taught me, I taught myself. I learned seeing how carefully they was playing the records, how they was holding it, they're mixing it in from one to another, listening to, you know, once again the bars, if it could be 8 bars, 16, 32, and then, you know, learn how to flow right on in. So that's what I did.
Now, Red, these are your teen years, your late teens, early 20s?
I was 19 at that time.
Okay. So you see all of this downtown, Midtown Manhattan, you see Kool HERC, and you say, yo, I'm gonna do this DJ thing.
I took it upon myself and started, you know, getting into the DJ thing. Now, during the time while I was in high school, there was the program, used to be called the Upward Bound program. The Upward Bound program is during the summertime while doing your junior and senior year, you stay on campus doing preparation for college. So I was staying up at Fordham University because they had the Upward Bound program all throughout the city. They had LIU, Columbia University, Stony Brook, Queens College. I was the one up in Fordham since I'm up in the Bronx all the time. And there was a friend named Roosevelt, and we was roommates, staying on campus for the summer. So here it is that he had bought a stereo, I bought a stereo. So what we did, we connect everything on one. And we was jamming in the dorms. We was jamming in the dorms. We encouraged us to go ahead and do a party in the lunchroom up there in Fordham University. So, you know, lead the interest one step to another. That's what it was.
Okay, so now you decide you all in, you buy this equipment, you buy this stereo. Talk about getting gigs, Red, and how did it start with getting known, you know, obviously we know who you are now, but it was one point that nobody knew who you was as a DJ.
Not at all. Nah.
Could you talk about that introducing yourself to the world and the struggle, the early struggle?
Well, I say like this. While I was going on, doing my thing on campus, during my time in the Upward Bound program, people seemed to like what I was doing, and they start becoming your mouthpiece, start speaking about you. So when they start speaking about you and then, you know, encourage you more and more, you go ahead and you start making tapes. So I used to record myself on cassette tapes. So as I record myself on cassette tapes, by the time I come home from being on campus, I used to take my tapes. I used to be, where I live at up in Harlem, I was on the first floor.
This is in the 80s, Red?
Huh?
This is in the 80s?
This is like late 70s.
Okay.
So here it is, late 70s. I used to take my speaker, I used to put it right out of the window on the first floor and let people hear what I'm doing.
Check them out, y'all.
This in the neighborhood. I had to do it at the time when my parents wasn't home. Oh, they said, cut that shit down.
Yeah.
But I was doing it, and people in the neighborhood started hearing what I was doing. Then I started having tapes. So when I was having tapes, I had the boom box. I started walking around the neighborhood at various locations where there was certain activities taking place at the time.
Yeah.
You know, under pharmaceutical.
Check them out, y'all.
You know, and I used to go ahead and, you know, was able to take these tapes around. They said, yo, man, how much for that tape? I used to sell my tapes. So I think that by me going ahead, establishing myself, being known as a DJ and establishing myself becoming known as a businessman, because once you start displaying and receiving, you start learning to become a business person. Then before you know it, people starting to hire me. So I'm doing like birthday affairs, house parties, all that. And that's how that became in the beginning.
All right, now, Red, how do you link up in hip hop?
How I link up in hip hop? Now.
In what year?
Now, once again, I was going to Kool HERC affairs. So we talking about
Who's Kool HERC, Red?
Kool HERC is, or we always consider the founding father of the hip hop culture.
Where you from?
He's from the BX. He originally from Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. And I learned as a youngster, he came over with his family and attending Taft High School up in the Bronx. And I think he just took it upon himself to start DJing. And the first party I heard he did was, I wasn't there, but the first party I heard he did was for his sister in the center of the building where they lived at. A center, a community center. And he gave a party there, and that turned out to be good, and people got to know about him, and before you know it, he started doing more and more parties. And that's how I got to learn about him. Because me growing up in the Bronx, the school, everybody kept on saying HERC, HERC, HERC. So I finally went to a Kool HERC party. So when I got to a Kool HERC party and I checked him out for the first time, I said, So I got to learn the difference between the beginning of the culture of hip hop, because not just the music, but within the whole flair of the style of how people portray themselves. You got the B-boys and B-girls is in there, the graffiti artists is hanging around that I knew that I went to school with. And it was a whole different scene compared to coming and sneaking downtown to the discos where you had to be well dressed, a certain age. You had to come with a certain atmosphere.
Check them out, y'all.
Because when you talking about up in the Bronx and you in the neighborhood where you live at, you being as you are. You ain't gotta be coming to court. But when you step into different environments, such as the clubs or discos downtown, you gotta come with showing a sense of respect amongst each other. You can't bring that hood in the environment where you're going to, put it that way. So, that's where I got to learn about HERC by going to all his affairs. By the time, after a year and a half I went to college, I came back, here go the next wave. So here go Flash, rest in peace AJ. You had the group called the L Brothers featuring Grand Wizard Theodore, who was the youngest. You had my man Smokey and the Smokertrons. You had quite a few different people all throughout the Bronx. And who is it that I got to learn more about was Bambaataa. So I was always going to everybody's party, just checking them out. I didn't get a chance to really show myself. Still DJing on the side, but nobody don't know me. But here it is, I'm going to check out everybody, see how they play, see how they style, see what selection of music. Who is it that took interest in what I was doing was my cousin. My cousin go ahead, he'd be like, yo, Red, I want to learn how to DJ. I see what you're doing. I said, okay. So he used to always come by, I let him get on the set and practice. I show him the fundamentals in the beginning, and then I allow him to become his own. By that time later on, my cousin along with the rest of the family moved from Manhattan and moved up to the Bronx. They moved to a place called Bronx River Houses. And my cousin made friends with others, and first person my cousin got down with was a person named, rest in peace, named Disco King Mario. So now as he down with Mario, Bambaataa in another location across from where Mario is at over in Soundview, he kept hearing about my cousin. He said, yo, who is this little guy that's over there with Mario? Who that guy? And somebody said, well, that's the guy that he's just moving the project. He said, well, what is he doing over there with Mario? He need to be with us. So he managed to go and get my cousin. My cousin, he go by the name of the original DJ Jazzy J. After he gave my cousin, after a little while, my cousin kept on speaking up for me. So they pulled me in, and I got down with Bam in like 79.
Now, Red, Jazzy J was a part of some instrumental early hip-hop records, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He's
Tila Rock, he was that when he got with Tila Rock?
Tila Rock, he the one that, got involved with Tila Rock with the record called It's Yours.
Yeah.
And also, he was also the DJ for the Soul Sonic Force when they came out with Planet Rock. You know? So my cousin Jazz was always involved. And the thing about Jazzy at the time, I was a fan of him because, see, when I got into it, I was not much into the cutting and scratching as much as he was. I was more into like the blending, the mixing. But you know, in the hip hop, you know, they take it to another stance. That's why I was a fan by going and seek all the different DJs, Flash, Theodore, AJ, name them all. And I saw what they were doing. So when Jazzy got in, and he brought me in, I was always on the side just watching Jazzy. I never hardly got on. Even though I got down with Zulu Nation, I barely ever got on. I was just amazed watching my cousin. I was passing the records to my cousin because, you know, his style, his flair, you know,
he was nice, right?
Nice is an understatement. Still nice to this day, you know.
Shout out to Jazzy J.
Yeah,
man.
you know, that's my love right there, you know, family right there.
Where he's still in New York?
He's still in New York. He stay out there in Brooklyn, you know, respecting him and the family.
Tell him I want to get an interview, right?
Yeah, I let him know.
Let him know.
You know, Jazzy does his thing, make it happen.
Hey, yo, Jazzy, come on the channel, man. Come on the show.
So, you know, he the one that pulled me in to start being part under Africa Band by the Almighty Universal Zulu Nation. And that's when people start to acknowledge me more and more.
Now, Red, how do you get on? What year do you get on the radio? How do you get on the radio? And how does that change your life once you get on the radio?
Well, you gotta understand, it leads to so many different things. From that time when I first got down until the next couple of years when rap music started to evolve more and more, because remember, 79 is the year that all rap music started coming out. Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis Blow, Christmas Rapping, Funky 4+1, Super Rapping. I mean, it must have been about a good 7 different songs that came out during 79. So it kept evolving from that time on. So as it evolved from that time on, you know, people start taking interest to see what is the Zulu Nation is doing. So Bam had formed a crew because he had a whole army of MCs. It used to be called the original Soul Sonic Force, but it was like 10 MCs. But he had a lot of them broken down in different groups. The first group he went after was the Cosmic Force. So he went after the Cosmic Force. That's when, you know, they did this record called Zulu Throwdown. After Zulu Throwdown, then he went after a group that my cousin and I had on the side called Jazzy 5. And they did Jazzy Sensations.
Yeah.
So now here it is, we talking about 80 into 81. Now going to 82, here come when he took 3 members of Soul Sonic Force and made the record called Planet Rock. Now the name is starting to grow more and more of Zulu Nation because these songs we got coming out, and you know, Bam was also a person that he was growing so big, not only throughout the city, but across the state, where he became
all over the
global.
world. That Planet Rock was large, man.
Right. So he was learning how to affiliate a lot of people to be part of Zulu Nation. So now we're leaving from up in the Bronx, as we were moving around different places, but we wound up being downtown. First we used to be at a club called the Grills, then Dance Interior, and we wound up in the Roxy. And when we did the Roxy, that was the same time Planet Rock came out. So now the doors are open. The Roxy used to be at one point in time, when we got to its prime, we used to average like 3,500 people in there every Friday. All different walks of life, all nationalities. We played everything, because even though we aren't recognized for hip hop, but we played it all. We played R&B, we played rock and roll, we played jazz, we played dance, we played everything. We learned how to mix it up together because Bam was a person to show us how to be open-minded with music. So that's when we all came down there, and then I got more and more involved to DJing. So now by the time it came to a person by the name of Barry Mayo, he came asking Bam, say, yo, we have interest incorporating what y'all doing into what we doing, because Barry Mayo at the time was a program director for 98.7 KISS FM.
Check them out, y'all.
So here it is. Mr. Magic was already over there on WBLS with Marley Marr, Fly Tie. So he wanted to go ahead and bring the elements of hip hop along with the KISS master mixes. So first person they went after was my man, Africa Islam. Africa Islam, one of the Zulu kings. Africa Islam couldn't make through a couple of appointments, so they went after my cousin Jazzy. Jazzy did it. He did it for like a couple months. Mind you, no pay. But now it's taken to another level of exposure, where the exposure lead them to getting gigs, studio work, and other things. But he let it go. So they came to the band and said, well, who's the next person they have in mind? And that's when they came to me. And that was in October of '83.
And the rest is history.
I never looked back.
Red, look at that opportunity. Look at what you just explained. That two people prior to you had already had a shot at the spot, the seat, but you ended up there for whatever reason. Opportunity presented itself and you seized the moment. Could you add some color to that for us, man, about in life when these things happen, man, that you gotta be able to step up to the plate, man, and grab it by the throat?
Each time when I had an opportunity to be part of Zulu Nation, well, put it this way, from the very beginning, when I had the opportunity for people to take a liking to what I was doing when I started DJing, take a liking to start buying my tapes when I was making them, taking a liking to here it is, I started establishing myself in association with some of my close friends around the area and bringing my cousin in to learn, which led to me to be part of Zulu Nation. Opportunity for being part of Zulu Nation led into be around different situations, different organizations, and different clientele, which led us to go ahead to be acknowledged in the clubs downtown. Different situations where it led for the two brothers I just mentioned, Africa Islam, my cousin Jazzy. Islam, he didn't make it. Jazzy, he did it, but he passed it up and left for me. When I see these opportunities, I have learned to embrace the opportunities instead of abuse these opportunities.
Check them out, y'all.
At the same token of time, they still consider what I was doing a diamond in the rough because it was fairly new. Mixing was always involved with radio for years. A lot of people didn't know that. That go back to like late 70s. Like the early mixers like Ted Courier, man, trying to remember all these names. Jelly Bean Benitez, a guy named Animal. I'm just talking about various DJs from different stations.
92 KTU was out there.
98.2 KTU, BLS, you know, who else? Of course, Kiss FM, you know, the early days of Kiss FM and Shep Pettibone and Tony Humphrey. So now when you bringing in hip-hop, this is fairly new to the audience. Because they never heard hip-hop on radio.
You was getting paid, Red, doing this?
I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid for 3 months when I first got on.
Check them out, y'all.
No. And what I learned that I ain't getting paid for 3 months, but I'm building my name. I'm building my stature.
Your brand.
Yeah. That's what you consider it. You know, you learn how to brand yourself, you market yourself. And it led me to getting gigs, getting parties. And then when I finally got paid, after 3 months, I was still getting very low pay. It was cheap. It was like $100. But by me being on there, it led me to how much money I got on the outside by doing clubs, by doing appearances, by hosting events.
Connections you making.
That's what it is.
People you meeting.
You know, so you have to go ahead and fetch in to receive later on.
Wow, that's dope story, man. So Red, you get on 98.7 KISS. What year? This is 83, 84?
October 83.
October 83, fall of 83.
Yes.
And then RUNDMC comes out, hip hop explodes, man.
Yeah, because
over the next 4 or 5 years, man.
Yeah, because in the beginning, when I was saying about some of the early rap records, like, you know, 24+1 and Curtis Blow and Last Fury 5, and then here it is in 82. The most pivotal year for hip hop, I believe, because two important songs came out in '82. Planet Rock and The Message.
Yes, it did.
You know, Planet Rock at that time when it came out, it changed the scope of music because you was never hearing sound like that. You know, they took the idea of bits and pieces from various artists, such as like Kraftwerk back in the 70s, and implemented, mixing it along with other different elements from other artists, and created this called electro funk. So behind Planet Rock, how many dance records came out after Planet Rock? They had artists such as Shannon, Let the Music Play, Give Me the Night. You had a group called Freeze that made A-E-I-O-U, Pop Goes My Love. I mean, the list is long. Now, as far as The Message, now you're hearing content where you can't say this is not nonsense. Because in the beginning, we know that people did not really want to fully accept hip hop because they felt it was nonsense, it was foolishness. They felt it was loud and obnoxious. But with The Message, it made them pay attention.
Yes, it did.
So from this side, Planet Rock, but went towards the dance audience, to this side, The Message that led towards the people. You didn't have to be conscious, but you could relate to what is it that they're speaking of. So, I mean, I respect that, you know. Now, here it is, the next year, '83, here come the next wave, RUNDMC, Houdini, Fat Boys.
Check them out, y'all.
Nucleus. Who else I can think of at that time? This is '83.
Yeah.
And you have various other different artists that came up with songs during this time. You know, and then earlier artists before that, you know, like Fearless 4, you know, Treacherous 3, Smoonie G, you know. But '83 was the next wave, and I think that behind Russell Simmons, RUNDMC took it to the next level. You know, Russell was known as a promoter that took his brother and the other two, they all from Hollis, Queens, to take it to another stance. And he learned how to push that envelope. You know, he was very brilliant, learning how to market that group. And that's why you heard them everywhere, you know? That's what it was.
So, Red, first of all, shout out to Chuck Chill Out too, man.
Chuck Chill Out, my man.
Shout out to DJ Chuck Chill Out, man. Hook me up with Red Alert. Chuck, what's up, man?
All
right, Red. '83. So now let's talk about what's happening with Red at KISS. '84, '85, '86, the golden era. '87, '88.
Whew. Man. Well, you know, a lot of music started evolving during that time. You know, there's so much music evolving during that time for the next amount of years. So, you know, me learning how to stay on the pulse and keeping my ears clean to whatever that next it was, I learned to attach myself to it. I always try to keep my ears open to whatever came through. Now, I listened to thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of songs. I had to take time each time something came out to judge if it's right for me to program in my show. I can't play everything, but I'm going to narrow it down to choose what sound right. And that's what I did.
What was you looking for?
I was looking for like originality, something that between not just the music and the lyrics, along with the how the way they present the lyrics and articulate over the music, fit together like a package that sound right, that sound interesting, that grab my attention, just like it was any other genre of music. Yeah, come on, for years and years, there have always been hundreds and hundreds and thousands of R&B songs, dance songs, whatever it is. Not every one of them made it. What they did, took time judging what sound right. So when it came to the hip hop, it's the same thing. You judge what sound right. That's what I did.
Now, Red, you on Saturday nights, 9 to 12.
9 to 12 at the time. But before that, when they first put me on 98.7 KISS FM, I used to be on from 11 at night to 2 in the morning.
When you first started?
First started, yep. And I used to be on every other week.
Wow.
This is what they used to do.
Wow.
First time they had me, and then the next week Tony Humphrey. And then here it is, and moved Tony Humphrey to his own, and they brought in the Latin Rascals. So now 1 week I'm on, next week Latin Rascals. Then here it is, when Latin Rascals moved, and here come Chuck. Now here it is, once again. 1 week I'm on, here goes Chuck, next week. Until when Larry Mayo decided to split our time. So he moved Chuck to Fridays, and moved me to Saturdays, and moved our time from 11 to 2 down to 9 to 12.
Wow. Wow, that's an amazing story, man. And this is coming from a kid, man. I used to go to Record City in Passaic on Main Ave and get my Maxell cassettes and my Maxell gold or chrome joints and sit in front of the box, man, at 8:58 waiting for that siren, man. And so many people, man, that's a part of their life, man.
Yeah, so, you know,
Waiting for that mix, man.
you know, what it was that we had a youthful audience that believed in us because they felt like it was meant for them. And at that time, they're in their teens or even up to like early 20s, as well as the audience that knew me from the heydays of being down with Bam. So they was the ones that found me and believed in what I was doing. Surprisingly, that today's time, that audience is now the adults. That's, you know, they are, you know, they have families.
Yeah.
They have children.
And grandchildren.
And grandchildren, you know.
But
they grew up with this. They grew up with this. So no matter what you presented at a time period, if there's an audience that stuck with you from the beginning when they was young up to now, they the ones that remember the moments and what it was to them, how valuable it was and what it meant to them, what they believed in, a little bit of everything.
And Red, we still love it, man. We to this day, we still love it, man.
Yeah, that's right. We still love it. That's why I take time to, I'm proud to say that in this day's time, I got a Mixcloud account. You know, there's an account called Mixcloud. That's a account where for all DJs have their own page.
Yo, that link gonna be underneath this video, y'all. Y'all check him out. Subscribe to his Mixcloud.
And the Mixcloud, I go and put a lot of different mixes on. I make a lot of mixes, or I have a lot of mixes from the past. I put it on there, and I give you all a little bit of everything. So you know, it's just not just hip hop, but R&B, classic soul, dance. You know, I mean, I have like over 30-something mixes on there. But I'm able to present to y'all what we was playing in that time in the past, because I know there's an audience that still appreciates it.
Absolutely. Red, now, is there a certain ear that a DJ has that a surgeon don't have? Is there a certain ear that a DJ has that a postal worker wouldn't have, or a bus driver? Is there a certain way you guys are wired and built that makes you a DJ versus a stockbroker?
Well, you know, it depends upon how much you put into the form of DJing. You know, because let's face it, in today's time, and even from before, a lot of people got into DJing for so many reasons. Some people get into it because of their passion. They love music. They love to be creative and innovative, to go ahead and do what they do on the turntable, either mixing, blending, cutting, scratching, you know. And there's a lot of them that come out great in what they do. And then you have a lot of DJs that do it because they want to be popular, just to do it just for the popularity. You got some DJs that do it for the money, you know, because they want to get paid. You know, everybody have a reason to get into DJing, you know. To each his own. I don't knock whether I know me, I got, of course, my passion about it. Once again, from when I'm talking about my heydays, how I had different DJs that led me into interest to start teaching myself, and I still keep that passion up to this day. So when you have that passion, you learn respect, man.
Props.
Respect to you, man. Hey, how y'all doing?
Yo, they coming over to give rest.
Thanks for the memories, bro.
Respect, man.
Check
Grew
them
up
out,
on you,
y'all.
bro.
Check them out, y'all.
Man, DJ Red Alert, bro.
Respect, y'all. Appreciate it. Here it is that, man, they threw me off that quick. Here it is that when you get into DJing, you got to learn to create your own criteria of what is it that help make you and make people believe in you. So that's where it comes to learn that the different selection of music you're looking for. And everybody's ear is different. Some people have an ear different from mine of what they believe in, and they go and pursue in their program. But if you have interest in what you hear and you believe in it, you go and pursue and program it in your set. And that's what it is that a DJ importance is, because it can't always be just because it's popular. Okay, what is on the top 20? What's in the top 30 list? Oh, okay, I'm just gonna play them. Well, you know, there's more to it. Maybe some good old oldies from maybe a couple years ago to 10 years, 20 years ago that you could probably fit right in your program. It could be other different genres of music. It don't always have to be just hip hop. It don't have to always be R&B. It may be some rock and roll. It may be some jazz. It may be some dance. It may be what people never expect for you to play. But it's the way how you learn to program it in your set, make it fit. If you learn how to program your set, it's like playing sports. If you learn how to maneuver yourself in whatever sport that you're involved in, baseball, basketball, football, this is long, and you learn to what is it to take it further to win, that's what you're doing as a DJ. You learn how to articulate by listening, by how playing, and how program to win. And that's the way I look at it.
Yo, Red Alert. I'm gonna give you a scenario. It's in the mid to late 80s, 85, 86, 87, 88. The dance floor is empty. What song, give me a couple songs you could play to get everybody up and on the floor and make them go crazy, man.
Well, what is it that you talking about? What album?
It goes in the 85, 86, 87, 88.
Well, I would start, in my opinion, I know some people go for the juggler and want to come out with a banger. And everybody excited. And that can work. But now you gotta be prepared that if you're coming out with that banger, do you know what next records to come behind that banger?
Check them out, y'all.
Because if that record is not as potent as the first one you played, people can sit back down.
Check them out, y'all.
I took it a different way. In the clubs, I know everybody's laying back in, just sip on, conversating, everything. I go ahead and play some nice tempo sounds to get them into the groove. That's what I always did. Get them into the groove, wherever it is, a hip hop or R&B, whatever. I'm just saying different genres of music. Then you learn to keep on rising that sound of the tempo to get people more into it. And then before you know it, everybody going to start taking time coming on out dancing. So it doesn't matter. And it don't have to be certain particular songs. It's like the timing. It's all about the timing.
Check them out,
what
y'all.
is it that you put in that make people start gaining interest, to start rising, getting their two-step on, to where they wind up just jamming.
All right. Now, what about the hip hop crowd? That hip hop crowd in 86, 87, man. What songs you gonna play, man?
Let me tell you what I used to play when I used to rise up in the beginning, like Union Square and Latin Quarters.
Check them out, y'all.
I used to play stuff like It's My Beat by Sweet Tea.
Ooh.
I used to play like Do You Know What Time It Is by Kool D. Just think about some of them early records at that time. AM PM by Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You know, I mean, those them joints is the head nod. Yeah, yeah. You don't want to give up all your hits in the beginning.
Check them out, y'all.
Because you don't have nothing left at that later on. Now this is where everybody getting into it, and then they start getting into their motion. Then you keep on rising more and more, and then you go ahead and get into other songs like My Melody by Eric B. Rakim, you know. just giving you an example of a couple of songs that you know what I would do to help rise. And now, when you get into your potency of that prime time, you got to give them, of course, you know, every week for president, you got to give them the show. You got to give them that RUNDMC like Peter Piper at that time, or my Adidas. And you still can kick in that Sucker MC because that's still staying out, you know? Because Sucker MC came out in '83, but it still withstand the time that can go later on with everything else, you know? You just learn how to time yourself with certain songs that you bring. And what I also will bring too, because it always may be a hip hop crowd, but sometimes you can give them some of that favorite R&B, or they love to hear like that Fool's Paradise by Melissa Morgan, or you know, Outstanding by, you know, Gap Band. Of course, you know, Before I Let Go is forever, you know. But there's certain songs you learn how to mix in and out, and it's all about the timing.
Yo, man, I got the dopest channel on YouTube, man. Yo, hands down, man.
You know?
Hey, Red, we all face adversity in our life. Life punches us in the mouth, knocks us flat on our ass.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give us an instance in your DJ career, man, where you faced some adversity? Could be one event or a series of events that maybe could have knocked you out the box, man, but you fought back and came back, and that's why you a legend to this day in this hip hop thing, man.
Well, let's face it. As we grown from era to era, generation to generation, most time, let's start with the generation. Generation usually starts off with who is their favorite within their age bracket, because they's the next upcoming DJs. They the next ones that's trying to rise. So now they gonna take time and they look upon you as a veteran, and they say, well, you know, you with the older folks. You with my older brother and sister, my mother and father, my aunts, uncle, everything. This is our DJ now. So you gotta learn how to ride along with the present DJs at that time and keep your ears open. What is it that they bringing to the table, so when you get ready to get on, you know you can continue to bring it to them. I know there have been times where, you know, they look at you like, okay, your time up. You know, because one thing I learned in today's time, it probably even been from way before, but they want to write you off so quick because they feel like, okay, you had your time, enough is enough, right? Or they feel like, oh, you in the way for the next person. I was never in the way for the next person from the beginning, because if I was in the way for the next person, there wouldn't have been no Clark Kent from Brooklyn. There wouldn't have been no Kid Capri. My man, that's my man. No Ron G, no SNS, you know, and many others that all range from all different parts of the city. You know, as well, what I did every time when I was traveling, I always wanted to know who was that next guy in that town. I attached myself with them because I know they're the next guy. So they look at you, well, who's that? Well, that's better love. Who's that? Well, you know, he's an old school DJ. But when they see that you attached with the present DJ at that time, they go and look at you like, oh, he must mean something because he know him. And when they hear you play, oh, he look like an old school cat, but he's playing up-to-date stuff. So, you know, it's challenges. You gotta learn how to adapt to what is it that's in your surrounding. And there have been crossroads. I will admit there have been crossroads in my time, but you have to learn to reinvent yourself. You know, when I left
Check them out,
for 98.7 KISS FM, I was Kool DJ Red Alert. I just did a slight little twist, and when I got to Hot 97, I said it's Kool DJ Double Red Alert. You know, I just did a different presentation, you know. At that time when I got to Hot 97, we talking about 94. So, you know, that's the Nas, Biggie, early Jay-Z, you know, we talking about Daza Fang, Wu-Tang, you know. You have to learn to come over there and adjust with that, you know. So people gonna always look at you for what you had done, but you still want to show them what you're still doing. And that's the point, you know. You have to adjust. Here it is. Now we in 2020. here it is. They would not expect for me to play various songs such as a J. Cole. Such as I forgot that record by my man DJ Mustard. Or various other different artists that I know they have some hits as far as hip hop as well as R&B. You know? And I still fit it along with the stuff from the past. Now, when I'm on radio, I don't go too deep. I may go like maybe a piece of late 80s, but more like the 90s on up to 2000 and mix it all together. You know, you gotta learn to just adjust. Just like that record, Living My Best Life by my man Lil DeVal. I learned how to bring that in and mix it along where the originality came from by Midnight Star. You know, I'm curious. You know, you just learn how to sandwich certain things to make it fit, you know?
My man. Hey, Red, last question, man, and I'm gonna cut you loose. Is Red Alert's life already written by a supreme being and higher power and there's nothing he can do to change his fate? Or does Red get to make his life and his future what he wants it to be with his own choices and his own decisions?
Well, you know, there have been challenges over the years. And I know that people, they expect more of me because of what I brought to the table. But I choose to move within my own path, my own pace, and my own presentation, because if you allow, quote unquote, what you involve in as far as the entertainment, the industry, whatever is involved, and you put it in their hands, they can go ahead and build you up and then drop you down, spit you out and present and send you off. Me, no, I learned to carry it my own, because y'all know there's a lot of people say, oh, Ray, man, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be having this, you should be that and that. Red is doing Red. And regardless of what you may see,
check them out, y'all.
My body and work are allowed to show more than what is it that I'm being forced to do. And that's the way I take it.
My man, Red Alert, man. Listen, man, I'm a fan, and it's always, you blow me away every time we meet up. You say we gonna meet at 1 o'clock on the corner of 40 Deuce and 6th Ave, and at 12:59 you show up. If you say we gonna meet at noon, at 11:59 you show up. It's amazing, and I want to thank you, man, for giving me the opportunity for coming on the channel, man. And I hope we could do this again, man. And Red, do me a favor, man. Tell the people, say, yo, man, fuck with Sean's YouTube channel. We got the dopest channel on YouTube, man.
What's the deal, everybody? It's the coolest legend, the Kool, the DJ, the Red Alert. Let me tell you about my man SG. You gotta fuck with him. I fucks with him. You gotta fuck with him. Know why? He got that channel right here on YouTube that give you content. He give you what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. All right? Make it happen. My man Sean.
Red Alert. Peace out, kid.